Hey, it's Professor Tom Wolf. We're working on our website development capstone this week. This is an extra video about how to implement a JavaScript quoter, and I'm going to explain how to do that here. I'm really bad with remembering people's names, and I meet many students, so I have a big problem with that. And someone today was including quotes in her website, and I mentioned that I had this JavaScript code that I usually have my students develop in the class when they learn to write JavaScript. And so I went ahead and offered to provide the script, and so it's something you can use in your page. So there's two options for using the script. One is to add it to your page as to your site as a new page, and the other is to embed it in an existing page in your site. What the script is it generates a stream of quotes. So you create a set of quotes, and then there's a timer, and it displays the quote. And a quote consists of the text of the quote and the author of the quote. I think probably the easier option is to add it as a new page to the site, just like you could add the greeting card app that we wrote in the previous capstone as your own page. And now you know enough about the CSS that you should be able to style it the way you wish. Okay? So either way, you're going to integrate this content into your site, but one way you can just put the files in and do minimal stuff. The other is a little trickier. You embed the quote in an existing page that might have other content. Okay, so we want to start by copying the files. I'm going to give you the files in a zip archive. It will not be a NetBeans project, so it won't have all the extra directories. It won't load into NetBeans. It's just the files that you need. When I get to the video, I'll show you how to use these files, okay? And I'll show you how the quote application works. So you're going to have to unzip the files and then copy all of them right into the site directory of your project, along with the rest of your existing files. And I've been real careful to rename all the files in the quoter app so they won't conflict with your existing ones. One thing you can do, I'm not sure if I'll show you this or not, but if you go into the file system and copy the files, then go into NetBeans, you can paste the files right into the folder. And if you have a conflict, NetBeans will rename the file and just append a number to it. So for instance, if I try to recopy index.html, it would be index_1.html. Okay? The other thing I want to warn you about is the quoter uses some technology that will absolutely not work locally on the folder. So you can't just open the file and run the quoter. It won't work. It has to be on a live web server, which is where you're going to put your web page eventually. You can run it from within NetBeans if you use the built-in server by clicking on the green arrow to launch the application. Okay, so the first option is the add to quoter as a new page to the site. And that's pretty simple. Again, as I said, you copy all the files into the site directory, and then you're going to need now to link the page in. So you already know how to do this. You did this with your other pages. And the quoter is in quoter.html. So you're going to create a new hyperlink called quoter.html. This my quotes can be whatever you want. That's just an example. And now you want to put this link with the other links in the nav section of your existing site pages. And if you set this up correctly, all of your pages have the same nav section, and it creates the idea of a persistent menu that your user can use to go through your site. That means you're going to have to add this link to every page that's already in your site. Likewise, you're going to have to copy all of the links from the existing nav section into the quoter.html nav section. So then all the pages in your site will have the same menu. Okay? Now you have some options here. If you want the new quoter page to have the same style as the rest of your pages, go into the quoter.css file, At the very top, there's a block of style code for the body, which puts the background color and the margins and things like that in. You're going to delete that. Copy the rest of the file into your existing main.css file, which is the one that your website already uses. So the rest of this stuff is very specific to the quoter, and it won't change anything in your site. And then you need to go into the quoter HTML in the head of the document and change the link from the main CSS from the quoter CSS to the main CSS. So it'll be the same as every other page in your site. What that'll do is that'll mean that all the pages, including the new quoter page, have the same style rules, and so they'll have that kind of similar style, and that's a good thing. Now you might decide, hey, I want my quoter to be different. In that case, you can go with this other option, and what you do then is just leave the files the way they are and continue to use the quoter CSS instead of copying and deleting it, and just edit it. So if you want to have a different color, you can just change that right there. You should know how to do that now. Okay? Alright, so that's all option 1, which is to add a new page to the site that has the quoter in it. This is comparable to taking the greeting card app and adding it to your website as well. Okay? Now, option 2 is a little bit more tricky, but you can do it. This is where you're going to insert the quoter into an existing page in your site. So if you look at the quoter HTML file, all of the markup that is necessary for the quoter application is located within the main element of the page. So it's all the content. It's going to be between the open and close main. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be two divs. So div, those are called divisions. They're blocks, and we use the divs to do styling and layout and things like that. So you need to copy that and then place it inside the main of the page that you want to embed the quoter into. Obviously it has to be in the right place if you want it at the top or the bottom of the page, etc. Okay. Now you're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the CSS. Just copy all of the CSS content from quoter CSS except for the body style blocks. This is just what we did in the previous option when we made a new page in the site. Okay, copy that into the main CSS site style sheet just like you did in the other option. Okay, now in the quoter HTML in the head, you have to add the script. I'm sorry, let me start over. Since you're going to be using this code in a new page, you have to add the JavaScript reference. You'll find that in the head of the quoter.html page. So that's going to be a script block, and you'll notice that the source for that script is going to be quoter.js. So you'll need to copy that into the page, and I think there's another script block in there too for jQuery. So we'll see that when we go to NetBeans. It's really important when you set up these files that you don't change the IDs or the script won't work. It uses the IDs to locate the locations in the page where it's going to update the quote information that gets displayed. So that's very important not to do that. Okay, finally, for either option, you're going to want to add your own quotes. And so the quotes are in their own separate file. This file is in a format called JSON, which is JavaScript Object Notation. And you want to very carefully take what I have and replace my quotes with your own. So each quote will look like this. It's in a curly brace block. It has a quoted text, a colon, and then the quoted text for the quote. So here's the actual quote. This is actually a Ben Franklin quote, fart proudly. And then again, quoted author, colon, space, and then quoted the author's name. Okay? Notice there's a comma between these two parts. And then also there's going to be many of these. So each quote will have one of these blocks, and they're separated by a comma. There's some other stuff in the file. You don't want to damage that. You want to leave all that. So this whole thing is in square brackets, and there's some other code that describes it. The advantage of this is you can just simply add quotes to the file, and you could certainly like copy this. Like I can even do it here in PowerPoint. If I click though, it'll change the slide, so I can't show you that. I'll show you when we're in NetBeans. So you can definitely add more quotes to the file easily. And then the idea is the only thing you have to change to add more quotes to your site is this single file called master_quotes.json, and then you just upload the new version of that and overwrite the old one. So this gives you a fairly easy way to update the site. Now I know the student that mentioned this wanted me to write a script where you could go to the site and you could post new quotes. There's a few problems with that. One is it's too complicated for us to do in a short amount of time. It's very specific to the server that the pages are on, and I don't have that information. I know you're going to have an IIS server. And then secondly, if you think about it, you really don't want to have a public site where people can post anything they want. That would get kind of out of hand, as you can imagine, with lewdness and hateful and racist comments and things like that. So this is really a better way to go, I think. Alright, let's go ahead into NetBeans and I'll show you how this stuff works. Okay, so first I'm going to show you how the quotes work. And you're not going to be able to do this because what I'm going to do, I'm not going to give you a NetBeans project folder. I'm going to give you a zip file that has these files. So these are the files in the zip file that you will copy into your site. Okay? And so just to show you, here's my site from what we've been doing. You can see it has all of my pictures and the index.html file, and I don't have any more HTML like you do. You have 2 or 3. It actually looks like this is an older version than what I had originally because I had 2 or 3 files that I did in the videos. I don't think that's going to matter too much. Either way, I would just copy all these files into the directory. Okay? But you won't see this in NetBeans. This will be in the file system. What I want to do now is just show you how the files work. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at the quoter. And here we go. Okay. So it's actually set to feed. You can change the amount. And so you can see that it has quote and author. There's the text of the quote. There's the author. You can style these differently. That's all done in the CSS, not the JavaScript. So you can alter the style. You can change anything you want here. Just don't change the HTML or the JavaScript file. You can add additional quotes into the JSON file, and you certainly should do that. You probably don't want to use my quotes. So the way this works is it starts the feed. I can stop it if I want to turn it off, and notice it flips this to start feed, so it tells me what it's going to do when I hit it. That's a toggle button. And then also it'll show all the quotes that I have, and so you can see them here. So again, you can do all kinds of stuff with this. This is I didn't spend a lot of time on the interface for this. I was really focused on the programming. So you can, for instance, put borders here and put rounded corners. You could change the width of these. Right now they're in the default. So there's all kinds of things that you can do here with the code to kind of make it your own, not to mention that you're going to have your own quotes in here. Okay? Alright, so let me show you now the details that I described of putting it together. So I'll go back to this, and again these files, well, let me close this too just so I don't get confused. There we go. Okay, so really these files are going to be in the zip file, and in Windows and the Mac is the same on that. You can just expand them into a folder. I'm going to go ahead and copy them. And now here is my site. I'll go into my site root. There's the other files. And I can just right click here and paste, and it'll copy them in. So I've just added all those files. to this project here, which is actually it's probably from day 1 or 2 because it only has the one page. So I'll just show you this on the one page. So first, if I want to make the quote file a new page, I'm going to go down here to the index.html, and hopefully I have some kind of, oh, this is really old. It doesn't have the navigation. You know what? I think I'm going to, let's see. Well, okay, I'm just going to have to commit and do this. So really what you have already is you have this nav section here. And let me really quickly just regenerate it in the code. It's pretty late tonight, and I'm not going to have a lot of extra time for this. I'm behind on my regular prep for my college classes, so I wanted to try and get this done. So again, you're going to have all these anchors in here, and I'm just going to real quickly create the anchor to the quote page. Okay. Whoops. Actually, I can do it even better than that by dragging it. So let me just grab that. So it's going to be quoter.html. I'll just drag this right over here, let it up, and there is the link. Now I need to put the display text in here. So again, this will be my quotes, or whatever you want it to be. And now let's save this. I have no idea what this is going to look like because it's real primitive. It's like the first day that we started, and unfortunately I don't think there's going to be a great interface here, but we'll see if the link works. Yeah, there's the link. So I don't have any CS on this, but I built that later, but it would work the same way. And if I added this into the page that I had done later in the week, it would have the style that I had developed. So watch, when I click on this, it does launch the quote page. And right now, the quote page is using the style that is right out of the box, so to speak. So I didn't alter that at all. Okay? Alright. I apologize. I grabbed the wrong set of files, but I'm really jammed for time here, and we're just going to have to ride with it. Alright, so now I have it linked in. Now let's go ahead and look at how to change the quotes. So if we go to the JSON file, where is that here? There we go, master quotes JSON. So you can see that each quote, as I had in the slide, is going to be this part right here. Okay, and then when you have a quote, you have multiple quotes, you have a comma between them. So if we go down to the bottom here, the last quote doesn't have a comma after it. Be real careful not to mess this stuff up here at the end. That's important. And that actually matches the beginning part, right? So there's the beginning brace. So the whole thing is in a block. And then really what this is it says it's a set or an array, a collection. So each quote has two parts, the text and the author. And if, for instance, I wanted to change this quote, let's see, let me try and think of a quote real quick here. Okay, here we go. So Bilbo rules, and I'll put myself in there for that quote. There you go. So now Bilbo rules is in the set, and when I run it, it'll have that. So you don't have to do anything other than simply add the quotes, and the script automatically will include all of them in the text. Okay, let's look at the CSS. So right now there's a separate CSS for the quoter page. And if I want the quoter page to use the same style that I have on the rest of the site, then I'm going to go ahead and eventually eliminate the quoter CSS and use the main. And so if you look here at this first part, I don't need this. This is the part that really makes it different. What I want to do instead is just copy these things down here. And let me explain. So the display label is the code that's going to display the labels where it says author and text. Quote text is the actual text. Author text is the name of the author. So that style block does that. And then this quote div is the area that each quote is in. So as you saw that each quote was in a rectangular block. And so of course you can add borders and all this. Again, when I did this, I was concerned with the coding and not the look and feel. So I never got around to really elaborating on the styling, which you can do. You can make that however you like. Okay, so again, to combine this, what I would do is I would go ahead and copy everything below that line as it says in there, Control C. Then I would go on over here to main CSS, and that means it's a little slow here. Come on. There we go. Go on down to the bottom and see, and you can see this is not as elaborate as the one we've done through day 3. And then just paste it in, Control V. Okay? And let me put a... Okay, and that should be fine. So now I'll go back in to Quoter HTML, and I'll change this up here. So if you see up here where it says link type equals text relation style sheet, instead of Quoter CSS, we're going to make this the one that you're already using for the rest of the site, which is main. Okay, yours might have slightly different names, so you have to kind of pay attention and see how it works. Okay, let's launch the site again, and we should be able to see this. So again, it comes up, and then when I go to my quotes, let's see, what did I do wrong here? Shouldn't be doing that. Looks like I made a mistake. Alright, just a second. Let's see. Am I in the right file? Yep, Quoter HTML, main CSS. Let's save this. I don't think I saved it probably. That's the problem. Because it shouldn't be using the Quoter CSS anymore. Basically, even though it's sitting there in the folder, it's no longer connected to the site. So let's try again here. And let me refresh. We'll go to my quotes. Again, let me refresh. Why isn't that changing? I thought all that styling was in the file under the body, but perhaps it isn't. Let me just take a quick look here. So main CSS. Oh, it just happens that I had the same colors. Okay, so it's actually using this file here. Let me show you that. So I'll change this temporarily to cayenne, which is a little bit different color. And again, we'll launch this. There's the cayenne. Now when I go to quotes, you can see the cayenne background. And then this is the styling that I mentioned that's specific to the quote text, the author text, and then both of these have the same style, which is the label text. Okay, so you can see that's how it works. Okay, good. Alright, sorry about that. I got confused because I had the same color on those backgrounds. Alright, let's put it back. Okay, so the other alternative is to embed the script. And so if we look at the quoter.html here, you can see there's not a lot of content here. So here's our main, and basically what you need to copy is everything within the main. Don't include the main, that's already in the target. So this is going to get kind of funky because I'm kind of just jamming everything together to show you how to do it. So let's see here. Okay, so if I put this down here, it's going to be below the content on my home page that I have. So I'll just paste it in. Again, I'm putting it into main with the content that I already have. And then now I have to go ahead and include the all these elements here. Okay, now I've already modified the main CSS, so it has the CSS that I need. Okay, so I'd have to do that anyway, but I already did that when I showed you the other option of putting the whole thing in. So let's go back and look at our quoter.html. There's a few other things we have to get. So that's the main code. Let me just show you what that's going to look like. So if we go ahead and launch the site, we'll come down here, and there it is. It doesn't have the header, and right now it doesn't have any of the other content, and that's because the JavaScript is not connected. So the JavaScript actually connects that and fills that content up. So we have to fix that, and that's because here this index.html doesn't have the JavaScript reference that the quoter HTML does. And also you see there's two of these. We've got the jQuery there too. We need both of those. So really what I want to do is I want to go ahead and copy these. And there might be a small problem here. We'll see if it works or not, because I already have some JavaScript in there, which is the script that makes my bio image, my picture, my photo random as you come to the page. Okay, but I think we're going to be in good shape. If the scripts don't work together, I'll just take that one off temporarily. You're probably not going to want to put this on your front page anyway. There is a way to get the scripts to work together. You wouldn't be doing it in the manner that I'm showing you. Okay, let's see what happens here. So there's that. And it looks like we got lucky. So both the scripts work. And so then I can stop the feed. And if I do the show all quotes, it puts them all in there. Okay. Now obviously I did that in a quick and dirty way just to show you, like, proof of concept. I would probably think a little more carefully about where I wanted to put this in the site. And again, you might decide that, hey, I'd like a new page on my site that has nothing but quotes, especially if you're going to put some time in and, get 30 or 40 quotes. It's kind of nice. Real quickly, just some other stuff that you can do. If you add the quoter as a separate page, you know how to do all this now. You can, change the title. I just defaulted it to my quote page, but originally I had Tom Wolfe's quote page. And then the display title is here. You're going to put that in as well. If you embed this, you could just copy the H1 in there too, and that would give it this sort of subtitle. Okay, I think we're in pretty good shape here. Sorry this is sort of rough and dirty, but I didn't have a whole lot of time. I wanted to try to get it done tonight so it would be available to you, and I still have to go ahead and render it, which takes another half hour or so, depending on how much time we have. Really liked what I saw today in your web pages. It looks like you were having a lot of fun. And unfortunately, I can't come on Thursday. I have a class at 3:30, but I will see you on Friday. So take care and continue to play.